All right, I've got a couple big announcements for you guys. Number one, PFF's player prop tool is now available on the web for all PFF Plus subscribers. And number two, PFF Plus is 40% off right now. If you use the promo code Black Friday, you get all of the same data, grades, and analytics that all 32 NFL teams use, all 136 FBS teams use. As well, you get access to our 2026 NFL mock draft simulator, that world-class player prop tool that can help you nail all of your bets, and of course, the best fantasy football tools on the planet as well. Again, 40% off PFF Plus right now when you use the promo code Black Friday. All right, last game we're talking about, a game that we will actually be at, Dalton. We have BYU at Cincinnati, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox. The storyline to know in this game, like the Pitt-Georgia Tech game, this game also has massive implications on who makes it to the conference title game because these are two programs right now who are fighting for a spot in that Big 12 championship game. The Cougars just need to win their final two games to make the title game. All they got to do is win those two games. If they lose one, they still have a shot at making it in, but it gets more complicated for them. They could also clinch a trip this weekend if they win, Arizona State loses, and Houston loses too. So BYU can clinch a trip this weekend if all three of those things happen. The Bearcats have to win out in order to even have a chance at making it to the Big 12 title game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the scenario is clear here. BYU, tough road game, final tough road game of the year. They're in full control of their destiny, especially with Cincinnati losing to Arizona this past week. So I think when you look at the opportunity in front of them, and Kalani Sitake's got to be chomping at the bit, right? After last year when it was really just a loss to Kansas that cost them this same shot, right? Now you're looking at it again going, okay, Cincinnati, tough team, very good team, but we got to win one more tough road game, and then they get to go home and play UCF where they will likely be heavily favored in the final week of the year, but they're in the driver's seat right now. And you got to love the way that they bounced back last week with a dominant win over TCU after losing to Texas Tech. That's kind of the moment where last year they were like, man, we didn't bounce back from our losses. We didn't finish, right? This year they're trying to finish the job, but it starts with a really tough game right down the road here in Cincinnati.
So you have Bear Bachmeier against the Bearcats in this one, Dalton. What should we know in this matchup?
Gotta love it. So one bit of tape that I wanted to watch is this matchup's obviously very interesting. You've got BYU's offensive line in their zone run game against a really good run defense for Cincinnati. Right down the middle of their defense, Dante Corleone, Jake Golday at linebacker, right, Antoine Peak at safety. But I wanted to look at how Bear Bachmeier could have success in this game. So what did I do? I went back and watched him play against Iowa State, which runs the same exact defense as Cincinnati. There's not a whole lot of pass rush. It's a three-man rush up front, a lot of drop eight, a lot of zone coverage. What did he look like in that game? Just to remind, I did watch it obviously a few weeks ago, and he was outstanding in the drop back game. That was maybe the best game of the year for him, but what was the difference? What did he do in that game to have success throwing the ball to the outside? Remember earlier in the season, Max, when I was talking about Bear Bachmeier and how good he was throwing down the middle of the field and the opportunities that Aaron Roderick creates for him down the middle? He's starting to throw more to the outside lately. That game against Iowa State was his highest passing grade, throwing at or outside the numbers. Then he comes back a couple weeks later this week against TCU, and he has another great game. He had his third best passing grade of the year on those outside throws against TCU. So when you look at the last three games, throwing at or outside the numbers, okay, where we're not necessarily used to seeing BYU make these throws, 86 passing grade, 33 for 47, 311 yards, 4 big-time throws just on outside throws in the last three games, especially against Iowa State and TCU. He was really good. To me, that's where you have to attack this Cincinnati defense in the passing game. We've seen them get hurt out there in the pass. Their corners, Matthew McDoom and company, they really have to be on it against Chase Roberts, against Parker Kingston, who's gotten even better this year on the outside. That's where Bachmeier, to me, has to attack. Cincinnati in the middle, they're tough. It's tough. Those tight windows and zone coverage, they're really good. But I think the teams like Kansas, Iowa State at times, Arizona last year, they've hurt them on the outside the numbers, challenging these corners. If Bachmeier plays the same way and has that same success he did against Iowa State, against TCU, I think he could have a really good game because Cincinnati, as we know, this defense is just structured basically not to have any pass rush.
So I'm looking at this game, Cincinnati's run game against BYU's run defense, because most people think with Brendan Sorsby playing as well as he's played all year that I'd be talking about that matchup. I'm not going to talk about that matchup in this one. Here's why. Brendan Sorsby has been incredible this year, right? 90 PFF grade right now is 9th in the country. However, Cincinnati's receiving core has really struggled to separate, particularly against man coverage. That was a major reason why in all 3 of their losses this year, against Nebraska, against Utah, and against Arizona. Those are 3 teams right there that play man coverage a lot. All 3 of them beat Cincinnati for a major reason why those receivers could not separate against man coverage. BYU also plays man coverage, not as much as those do, but a lot. They play man coverage right now at a top 40 rate in the country at about 32%, and BYU is excellent at it as they're 33rd in team coverage grade right now. So I don't think this game should be Brendan Sorsby's to win as a passer. This game has to be, in my opinion, for Cincinnati to win this game, they have to rely on their ground game in this one. Fortunately for them, they've had an outstanding rushing attack this year. Right now, Cincinnati is 10th in EPA per run, 10th in run blocking grade, 11th in yards per carry, and 19th in rushing grade. This has been one of the 10 or so best run games that we've had in college football this year. Tawi Walker is 2nd in the Big 12 right now with an 87.9 rushing grade. Evan Pryor is 5th in the Big 12 with an 82.6 rushing grade. And Brendan Sorsby will be relied on in this game too with his legs, because right now he is 2nd in the conference with 9 rushing touchdowns this year. And against man coverage, with defenders' backs turned to him, he could have a lot of success on the ground in this game. BYU's run defense has been relatively average this year. Right now they're 76th in team run defense grade and 74th in yards before contact per attempt allowed. If the Cougars play better in run defense and get the Bearcats behind the chains and make Brendan Sorsby and more specifically those receivers separate against their man coverage on 3rd and long, this coverage unit could have a huge advantage over Cincinnati. But if Cincy succeeds in the ground game first in this one against BYU's relatively average run defense, that could be their path to victory in this game.
I want to say something. What a matchup of linebackers that we have between these 2 teams in this game. When you talk about trying to stop the run, you start with BYU with the 3 that they have. Jack Kelly, Siale Acera, Isaiah Glasker. Those guys are going to be put to the test against a really good Cincinnati offensive line and 3 different guys who can make explosive runs happen. And then you look on the other side with Cincinnati, Jake Golday, Jonathan Thompson, Simeon Coleman. They've got both of these teams just have terrific linebackers. You're going to see some big-time collisions between the 3 rushing threats for Cincinnati, obviously, and BYU's linebackers. And then you look at BYU's backfield. We talk so much about L.J. Martin and what they want to get going, but man, Bear Bachmeier is an absolute hoss too now. I mean, you look at that. He doesn't even look like a true freshman when you look at the size and the power that he runs with. He's out there delivering hits as a true freshman quarterback. So you're getting a physical football game. But if you're out there scouting linebackers for the NFL draft, I think you need to be watching this game.
Yeah, absolutely. So ultimately, Dalton, who will win this massive game in the Big 12 conference between BYU and Cincinnati?
I think we're going to get an outstanding ball game. I really do. I think you have 2 teams that stylistically want to accomplish a lot of the same things. They want to be the more physical team. They want to run and stop the run, but I think it comes down to the 2 passing games and some of those obvious situations. And it for most people on the surface, that might be, okay, Brendan Sorsby's the veteran, right? He's the senior. He's this and that. And Bear Bachmeier is the true freshman, but I just feel like every single step of the way for BYU has just been another step towards progress. Even the Texas Tech game, yes, they lost, yes, they got dominated, but for them to bounce back the way that they did against TCU with a resounding win from start to finish, I like Bachmeier. I like the matchup that he has with the lack of pass rush and the ability now to continue to expand his game, throw into the outside. I think both teams rushing in this game are probably going to be about even, and I have a hard time in these bigger games trusting Cincinnati's receiving core to get it done and for Sorsby to throw it into tight windows. I'm riding with the Cougars 31-28. I think it's going to be a terrific football game.
I agree with you. I have BYU winning 28-24. I think Bear Bachmeier, who's been really good from clean pockets this year, and Cincinnati's pass rush has not been very good this year at all, so he'll have plenty of clean pockets. So I think he will beat Cincinnati's defense in this one. I think the Cougars' man coverage will significantly bother the Bearcats receivers in this game. BYU wins this game and potentially needs just one more victory to make it to Dallas next week. And also BYU could clinch a trip this week too, if a couple other things happen in the Big 12 Conference. But I have BYU winning 20-24 and ends Cincinnati's hopes of making it to the Big 12 title game. Again, if you're going to be at the game, let us know because we're going to be there too. So if you want to meet up with us, we'll certainly do that with you guys. Let us know in the chat and the comments below if you'll be in attendance for this game between BYU and Cincinnati because we will be there.